We got freedom to gain, we feed them the game. Turn on New Freedom Exchange, we freeing your brain. They trying to shackle your mind, no half of us blind. Remember the past, but never go backwards in time. The ancestors lived through us, they help us build a model community. New Africa is soon to be. So tune in to Sister Marsha, Mujahideen, Imam, Bilal, to get your cultural enlightenment now.
Welcome back to another edition of New Freedom Exchange, your cultural expression for social dignity and community empowerment. I'm your co-host, Mujahideen, here with...
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Marsha.
Wa alaikum assalam, Imam Bilal here. Welcome back to New Freedom Exchange. We're live direct here, streaming on Facebook and YouTube. Do not forget to share wherever you are. Let everyone know that we are live tonight. And also like and subscribe to our Facebook page and YouTube channel, New Freedom Network on YouTube and Facebook, and New Freedom Exchange with an X on Facebook and also YouTube. So again, salams to everyone. Everyone come in, please give the salams, give the peace, and we will shout you out. Let us know what city or country you're tuned in from. We can definitely want to shout you out and get to know where everyone is from this evening who's tuned in. And we look forward to a very, 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 very good show that we have this evening. But before we get there, real quick, how's everyone doing?
Doing pretty good this weekend. Well, today's been pretty smooth. Yesterday we were off from work for Veterans Day. So that was nice to, have a day off. I mean, I always still wind up doing things. And it's also nice too when it's a Friday, because then I get a chance to go to Juma. So everything's pretty good on this end. I mean, I tell everybody at my job, I'm a sixth grader right now. So my daughter's in sixth grade, and she's having her challenges with sixth grade, and so I am a co-student in sixth grade. So they were all out for the week here in Jersey because it also coincides with the teachers convention that happens this week, and so. Of course, she had all week to get some work done, and my baby is a little last minute, so we be in here fighting a little bit. So y'all make sure y'all pray for me. Y'all make sure y'all make some dua for me when y'all busting them ride cards, okay? Because this girl be challenging me. But other than that, things are good. She's a good girl. She ain't a fan of sixth grade, y'all.
With the special supplications coming your way. Everything's good on this side as well. We were also up in, I guess we were in Jersey City for Juma there, Mash Ali Man. And today, our youngest son, he was in the Super Bowl. They had the Pee Wee League football Super Bowl, and they won. So he's a two-time champion in the same year. He did the JV varsity, and
that's BB, man.
Little Iron BB, man.
Iron BB, I can't.
You like to be called Tank now.
Oh, BB Tank.
Yeah, not BB Tank. Other than that, it's all good. Then we went to they did a celebration bowling party, so that was cool. Yeah, I had to bring out my X-Men. I got my X-Men status. I got my Wakanda on too. You know what I mean? It's that Nagash right here.
Oh boy!
Gosh, I mean,
brother, champion bowler.
You seen that left foot roll? You know what I mean?
We're gonna have to test that, Aki. We're gonna have to see that, man, and show the world. What I'm saying. What's this bowling thing about? But inshallah, alhamdulillah. I mean, I think everything is going pretty well over here too. We had off for Veterans Day and give time to reflect on the service of the men and women who sacrificed and still are currently sacrificing for this country. So give into reflection of that which happened yesterday, but by no coincidence did it happen on As-Salatu Jummah. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's important to make that connection as well. And the week has been pretty mellow. Pretty mellow. We're getting ready for our retreat tomorrow with the Focolari. So we're very excited for that. That some members of the Folklore are in town from across the country to have our retreat, planning retreat tomorrow, to plan next steps for our relationship between our two communities. So looking forward to that tomorrow. And what else? Yeah, I mean, everything else been pretty mellow. We're diligently still working with the HBCU MSA Coalition to reach out to the campuses across the country and to work with everyone diligently to get their needs on campus met, and also to help to expand their programming. So inshallah, you'll see more of those good news taking place throughout this remaining of this semester, but more so gearing up for the spring semester, which will be upon us in January after the holiday observances and winter break. So definitely looking forward to that and seeing where that goes, inshallah.
But today we are here because, as we stated, we did just celebrate Veterans Day on Friday, and we wanted to take some time out to talk with some veterans from our community and have a discussion around service in the military and being Muslim, and what that experience is like and the benefits to it. And so we decided to invite some special guests with us today to have that discussion.
Yes.
And so we have with us Brother Lyndon Bilal, and we have Sister Teal Baker Ellington. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring our guest in.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, everyone.
Okay.
Hi, how are you all doing today?
I'm doing great, alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. Could be no better than the day, and the weather is beautiful.
It is. It definitely is. It's a little too hot in the house, though. I'm like, what is going on?
I'm sweating already.
Like, what's going on? One minute I got on my heat, the next minute I'm like, ooh, please open these windows. So I think somebody said it's supposed to mellow out next week. So I'm waiting for that because I am a winter girl. I need all the cool breeze, okay? You can have every bit of this heat.
Yes, man.
But we are so honored to have you here with us today. We want our viewers and our listeners to get a chance to know you and to know your stories in connection to your service and the branch of service that you served in, particularly, and who you are. So we're gonna give you all a chance to do that. And I guess we can start with you, Sister Teal.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for this opportunity to come in, and especially on Mujahideen. He's he one of my favorite because he helped us start the cook bars at my job when I was there for the federal Muslim employees. So I tagged him, but I tried to get every email. So I'm glad I'm able to do a favor back to you guys for that. Other than that, I retired from IRS in 2008 with 33 years as an IT specialist. I graduated from Central State Wilberforce, Ohio in 83, and it's been going uphill ever since then. And it's been real fun about just being involved, being a Muslim, being an African American, being a woman, and tying that all into everything that I do with the community. So it's been really great. I had 2 activations, and they both were stateside. One in 1991 at Fort Dix, and then 2001, 10 years later, Noble Eagle in Fort Leonard. So that was an experience to leave my daughter. At that time, I think she was about 8, and left her, and I was married at that time. So now my husband got to see all that women do when you go away, take her to ballet, take her this, do their hair. So that was a good experience to go away for a year during that time. And we was a training unit. So from that point on, it's been uphill. And then when I retired in 2008 from the military, and that, it's been a pleasure. And just combining all my skills that I learned from school, from the military to the community, it's just been outstanding. And now I'm a part of Muslim American Veteran Group. The first time they nominated a woman in 25 years on the national board. So that was an accomplishment that I like. And then a couple of weeks later, they elected me as post commander, post 6. I didn't want it, but you know how they say, you don't want to go ahead and do it. So, you know, we women always pick up the torch and always want to lead from that standpoint. And I'm involved in a couple other groups, and I'm with Master Muhammad of Philadelphia. And we do a lot of activities for the community as a whole, like the Quran came down for mankind and all our service for the whole community. And that's it, I can say, until we go further into any other discussion.
The hardest worker in showbiz.
I leave that to James Brown.
Now, which branch of the military did you serve in?
I was Army. The whole time was Army Reserves. I did, other than the activation. When you go straight reserve, your activations are your active duty time. So after I retired, I was able to take 4 years of my time and combine it to my government time to take me to 33 years. So that's how they do it. But and then when you turn 60, you don't get your full benefits until you turn 60, which I did 2 years ago. So I'm off the books for the military. I'm just a veteran. They can't call me back, whatever. So I'm completely off the book, but as a retiree. And my rank was first sergeant, which is the top. That's the go between like the sergeant major and then the commander. Mm-hmm. So that's a high status when you reach the ranks of first sergeant because you handle everything. And I was in control of a unit with 6 groups. So it was close to about 150 people that I was in charge under the listing branch. So I was the go-between before that and the sergeant majors and the officers.
Excellent. Thank you, Sister Teal, for joining.
Yes.
Brother Lyndon Bilal.
Yes. Again, greetings, peace, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam.
We want to give a salute and a thank to all the veterans out there today and those past and those who are serving currently and those who will serve in the future. A little bit about myself. I was born in Gary, Indiana, and I joined the military when I was 18 years old. I was not a Muslim at the time. However, I had been influenced by my older brother to come into Al-Islam. A few years later, I did embrace Al-Islam while I was stationed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. And I began my dawah in the military at that point, becoming an Islamic lay leader. And I learned a lot about Islam. I eventually got married, and me and my wife, we had 5 children. I got stationed in California, in Norton Air Force Base, California. I went in open electronics because I like to fix things and wanted to learn how to fix things as well as played the piano. So I wanted to get some GI Bill benefits. And I went into weather equipment maintenance initially. As you know, the Air Force got planes, they got to land, so they got to land them safely so that weather equipment, radar and fog, they call it transmissivity and so forth, have to be working. And so, you know, it was a pretty expensive electronic field, which I wanted, and the Air Force gave me that. But, you know, I didn't go in knowing I was going to be Muslim. And that became pretty much the biggest thing in my career. And I got, after California, I got stationed overseas in Turkey for 2 years. And at that time, I was Muslim. And so that was a really great tour for me and my family. Then after that, I got stationed at the Pentagon around 1988. And that's what brought me to Washington, D.C., where I reside at now. And in 1992, being the Islamic lay leader at the Pentagon, there was a luncheon that we had, and Imam W.D. Muhammad he was a special guest at that luncheon, and Muhammad Ali, the great humanitarian boxing champion, attended that luncheon, and I separated from the military in 1993. I was in the Air Force, and I stayed here in Washington because at that time there was a lot of opportunities for those in my field of IT, and I'm still in IT. I'm not as fortunate as Sister Teal to have retired yet, but inshallah, it'll become, both of us are close to the same age too. And just last week I was in Philadelphia with her. Like she's doing some great things. They were part of the Philadelphia Veterans Parade, and I drove up from Washington to give my support to her efforts. And the Muslim American Veterans Association. So in 1993, the first Muslim chaplain was sworn into the military, Abdul Rashid Muhammad, who was a member of our community. And I was part of a group called the Muslim Military Members, in which there were several of us on active duty. And our goal was to get the first Muslim chaplains in, and that took place in December of 1993. And one more highlight of my military career was in 1992, because of the work that we were doing with the Muslim military members. The Saudi government, they gave us a, invitation to make Hajj while we were still in uniform. And so myself and several other military members, and many of them, a couple of them, probably, like Imam Talib Sharif, so forth, we were able to perform Hajj in 1992 while we were in military uniform. And, and so that was one of the biggest highlights in my career and in my life.
That is amazing. Both of you, those stories are amazing. And it, as you tell them, you can sort of feel yourself going through your journey, the bits and pieces that you all shared, and that that the experience with being in the military was impactful for you and continues to be impactful for you. You both mentioned the Muslim American Veterans Association, and so I'm interested, among other things, I'm interested to know a little bit more about the organization and, the purpose of it and how it, I guess, how your experience in the military sort of carries forward to this organization and the impacts that it maybe it makes for you and maybe even for the community. So what's the significance of the Muslim American Veterans Association for you all?
Okay, well, let me, since I've been in it a little longer than Sister Teal, I'll start that question, and then she can answer as a pretty, I would say, a recent member of the organization. In 1997, a brother named Mujahid Muhammad, who was a POW in the Korean War for over 440 days. And was born in Virginia, but he was stationed, he lived in Philadelphia for several years. And he also started the first Muslim Boy Scout troop. But him and a couple other brothers in Washington, D.C. in 1997, they started this organization called Muslim American Veterans Association. And one of the things that Brother Mujahid would say is that he had joined other veteran organizations and he just didn't feel comfortable with their traditions and lifestyle of drinking alcohol and chasing women and all this stuff that is not compatible with a clean, healthy life and with Al-Islam. And so they started the Muslim American Veterans Association in 97. I think I joined it around 99. Like I said, I got out the military in 1993. And so it's just as its name say, Muslim American Veterans Association. And when we first invited Imam Muhammad to speak on this organization, one of the things that he pointed out was that, you know, you have the Korean veterans, you have the Spanish veterans, you have the Irish veterans, you have the Jewish veterans. Nothing's wrong with having a Muslim veterans organization. And so for 25 years now, this is what we've been trying to build and what we've been building and making a lot of progress. Just yesterday, we found out that a document that we had sent to the Muslim VA on burial, on the procedures to bury Muslims that was submitted in 2011 is now accepted across the whole country, that any veteran that's a Muslim that wants to be buried or have their loved one buried with Islamic rites and traditions, they will go to that document that our organization put together, and they would use that document for the procedures to perform the burial. So if you have any questions after Sister Teal can speak, then we're open to that. So, Sister Teal.
Thank you, Brother Lyndon Bilal. Sister Teal.
You muted. Unmute her.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, just starting up post 6 has been very interesting because here in Philadelphia, it's a lot of military Muslims, and a lot of them are having problems now with their claims or health and anything. So we're going to focus as we come back together in the coming months. We're going to focus on 3 things that we want to fulfill within ourselves, because we have to be healthy inside our group to help everybody outside our group. So the 4 members that we just elected, they're real excited, and other people just by Facebook want to be involved. So we're going to be gearing ourselves to membership and working on goals to better ourselves to outreach to the community, which MAVA has been doing. And you know, everything starts in Philadelphia, so we're going to try to make Philadelphia the top, like it's the top of the clock, and number 12, and everything else with half of that is post 6. So it's real interesting to have everybody excited. When we had our first meeting, a brother already came with all the paraphernalia. I said, "You must be an old member." He said, "Nope, I just was waiting for you, Sister Teal, to come, because now I can be a part of it." He had everything, and may Allah reward him, because he's been pushing for it from our past commander, Brother Khalifa, and everything. He went through his different illness, but they've been striving and wanting this opportunity for MAVA to take hold. So we're going to get ourselves healthy inside, work on the issues that we have, and build out and reach out to everybody else in Muslim community and everybody as a whole of military. So we're not just leaving to the Muslim military. We're reaching out to everyone that's military and the community.
Alhamdulillah, this is beautiful. It's amazing to have an organization like this even exist, and it just speaks to the fabric of this country, and the contributions that Muslim Americans have made to the fabric of this country, and that we also played a role in the military. A lot of people don't know that, or it's not well documented, so I think having Muslim American Veterans Association is very important. It goes back to what Brother Lyndon, you mentioned about, other ethnic groups have their Veterans Association or their groups representing their interests, and we need to have a space for our interests to be represented, and our life to be represented. So I think this is really great work that you all are doing with MAVA, and the evolution of MAVA from its inception to now. It's been very good to see the progress that's being made with this organization. My question is sort of in the realm of the goals that MAVA may have in the short term. As we know, we strategically plan to move our organizations forward and that's what we always ask our organizations, institutions when they come on the platform is, what are some of the the short-term goals, for the remaining months going into 2023. The New Year is coming, or the Gregorian New Year is coming, and is there any goals that MAVA may have that you all want to care to share with us in the audience this evening? Any short-term goals?
So, as you know, the time to be grateful is coming up. And so we do have a workshop planned, and we will have one of our retired veteran service representatives as a presenter at that. And that's Brother Kareem Shabazz out of Atlanta. And he's a guest writer. We have a column in the Muslim Journal, as you know, called MAVA Speaks. And I've been responsible for making sure we keep that column going, because it's a blessing, to do. It's work, but, along with work comes blessings as well. And so we're looking forward to that workshop. And last year, we did do a special Veterans Day program that can still be brought up, in which we covered a lot of the groups that don't get as much attention as possible, such as the Tuskegee Airmen, the 8666, which was an all-women's World War II unit that went over and made sure the mail got delivered, and they pretty much saved it. Their motto was no mail, no morale, and that's true when you overseas and you in war. The Harlem, what do you call them? The Harlem Hellfighters, the Triple Nickel, which was a African American parachute unit that went and had to put out fires when the Japanese were sending balloons over with bombs and dropping bombs and causing fires. Another unit that most people don't know about is the 25th Brigade Bicycle Unit, which before we started getting this automobiles and so forth, they did an experiment, and it was with an African-American unit that had to ride bicycles across the country in order to see if they were viable in a wartime wartime situation. But, because of the fast way that industry came about, that became obsolete. But nevertheless, we don't want to forget those heroes, especially among ourselves. I mean, we are special people in this country, and we've served in all different facets. One of the things about the Muslim American Veterans Association is it's not that popular, because most people think of war when you talk about military. But every country, every nation has to have a military, to protect themselves. And so when we go into the military, we take that oath. We will defend our country against all enemies, domestic, foreign and domestic. And right now, we know that most of our enemies are domestic with this white supremacy thing. And so we do see the military, and the more, if we were not involved with it, we can't influence how we're going to try to defeat that. But I think with us being in the military, and we're Muslims, we have a clear understanding on how to defeat racism with Islam. And that's one of the reasons why I became Muslim, because started hearing about the removing the racial images thing. I say, man, I've never seen anything like that. And that's, the type of thing that we need, the wisdom of Imam W.D. Muhammad, of course, the wisdom of the Quran and Muhammad the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the way in which he conducted himself, even when he was a military commander.
I appreciate that last point you made about it being significant to be Muslim and connected to service, right? And so it piques my curiosity for both of you to know, like, what is it like being Muslim and to serve, right? To have active duty and be a Muslim. And I guess, even if it's not active duty, but just to be serving in the military in general and be a Muslim, because I people have all these perceptions about us as Muslims in general, right? Whether it's connected to service, or it's you on your job, or it's, do you shower with this on, like all crazy stuff, right? But, so people have all sorts of perceptions. And I guess even for me, when I think about the military, I don't necessarily think about Muslims in the military. So I'm now curious to find out from you all, what is it like being Muslim in service?
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Well, when I was in the military, I was a Muslim, but the status and rank that I had will be governing all the rules and regulations to the military. And especially when I was a first sergeant in the military, the whole military is about, like the Quran, you can't break it. You can't change, you can't do anything. So with the AR-670, that's the governing rule for the military. So back then when I was in the military, they always worry about the female hair coming out of the cap. You got to have the bun, you got to have it straight, you got to have this. So now if I was a Muslim in the military, it wouldn't be no difference whether you're Muslim, non-Muslim. The regulation means you had to be within regulation. But I just did a talk at the Constitution Center about the First Amendment and the freedom of religion. So now the regulation has a whole section about religious preference. So since I wasn't a Muslim there, I still would have to know the regulation of that to make sure for males and females, their requirements in the dress, what they're supposed to wear, how they're supposed to wear the hijab, because they have a whole picture of how you're supposed to wear your hijab, So, in the Muslim community, you have a lot of people like, you should wear your hijab here, but it's a specific way that you would have to be in the military. Even though I wasn't Muslim there, the rules and regulations that I would have to follow no matter what religion you were. So that's the best thing about the military, that it shouldn't be no ethnic, no discrimination for anything. So I would say, and I have talked to some people who were Muslim now in the military, and it's real strict because they will call you out or you have extra duties or whatever it be. But a lot of sisters now are going overseas. So now you have to get covered because you're going to certain parts of the country where you need to be covered for your safety or not. So that's the biggest thing. We want the safety for the soldiers to always be, especially for women, whether you're Muslim or non-Muslim, African American, or another ethnicity. You always have to go by the guidelines for your safety. Yeah. And sometimes you might have to shower because you might have to run and go, whatever, and you sweat. So, but it's all, if you notice, when we're not in the military, we can wear our scarf, according to which way or what sex you're in. The same thing with the military. You got to have a specific color. You can't have a lot of different colors, and most of the time it's the black or whatever when you go in. And it's your safety person. Women know how to wrap their scarves where nobody can pull it. And the same thing in the military. When they wrap it, you can't pull it when you get it. And then when you get off duty, you just go to the rules and regulation of Islam.
Okay, well, the military, again, you're talking about 5 branches and a new branch now called Space Force. So you're talking about the Army, Air Force, Marines, and the Navy, and also the Coast Guard. But depend on your job and that you have, how your military experience will be. I mean, as Muslims, we should always strive for excellence. And the military nowadays does respect our traditions. During Ramadan, you can, that's in the regulation where you have to respect the Muslim fasting during the month of Ramadan. Our daily lives as Muslims is no different than a civilian. We pray 5 times a day. So in most situations, you can pray, and at most bases now where you have Muslims, you have a facility where Jumu'ah prayer is held as well. And the highest ranking Muslim chaplain now, Colonel Khalid Shabazz, he has a lot of influence in the Army, especially over the chaplaincy and over a lot of the troops and so forth. So it's what you make it, like I say, it's no different than we should all be doing every day, striving for excellence, striving to improve yourself, striving to help others and so forth. And so I think the military gives you that unique opportunity to help others even more, and as well as to travel and experience different cultures, different cities, and get involved in those things. And I want veterans to know that they should get involved with MAVA. If you were in the military, whether you had a good experience, which I hope you did, or you had a bad experience, which I'm hoping you're getting help for. But what we're building here, again, is something that for generations later, the young people can have a organization that is compatible to these other organizations that don't necessarily accommodate our type of lifestyle, which is a clean lifestyle, not a lot, no profanity, no useless vain talk, should I say, alcohol, and pork. So we're building those things. And that's going back to Imam Bilal's question. These are some of the things for the future that we want to keep building upon, where our organization is a professional organization that is on the same level as some of these other veteran organizations that's been around for a long time, that has government funding, etc.
On a note, is how can cities, veterans, if there's no chapter in the city, say for instance here in New York, I don't think there's a chapter here in New York, but I've never heard of it. But I know there's a lot of veterans here, Muslim American veterans here in New York City, that could benefit from that. But in general, how does one start a chapter for MAVA? And then can you also speak to how many chapters are there in MAVA currently as well?
Yes, so we do have a post in New Jersey, post number 5. And our past commander, Sami Ali, who was also the MAVA national commander at one point, he's there in New Jersey as well. And the current commander, Khalil Salih, also another post in Patterson, New Jersey. But the way to start a post is to go to our website, which is mavanational.org, and then you would get your application to join a post. And we have a monthly Shura board meeting with all the post commanders and the Shura board. And those positions that you need to start a post as a commander, a vice commander, a adjutant, which is the secretary, with Sister Teal is our national adjutant, quartermaster, which is a treasurer, and the other positions are not required, but they're recommended, such as the sergeant at arms and the historian. But you just need at least 4 people to start the post. And really, if you don't have 4 people, and if it's just you and you're in that city, I would say become a member and then start joining our Shura board conferences, and we will all from around the country try to assist you in getting your post going. But we planted the seed. Now we have to continue to cultivate it. And, of course, we're going to see a lot of good fruit and things coming about as long as we stay on the job. And currently we have 14 posts in Washington, D.C., Gary, Indiana, Atlanta, Georgia, I believe Orlando, New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey, Philadelphia,
Patterson, I think.
Yeah, I mentioned that. Los Angeles, Kansas City, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Charlotte, North Carolina, and we have a new post coming on in Indianapolis, Indiana. And so we just want people to come and get involved. We're not just saying, don't ask what you can do for what MAVA can do for you, but what you can do for MAVA. But we're saying you have to understand that we're not at the level where we can service all what's needed for veterans. So, but if you want to help build a Muslim American Veterans Association, don't hide your past experience. Come and join us and help us build this the right way for the future.
So family members of veterans can join MAVA? Because my father was a Vietnam vet.
Yes.
My mother is the widow of my father. You know, is that possible too?
Yeah, we have.
We're guided by our bylaws, and our bylaws state that anybody can join MAVA, except only officers have to be Muslims. You can't be an officer unless you're Muslim, but you can join the organization. And we've had that, especially we had a brother in Kansas City, Missouri. He was very helpful with us, and he was not a Muslim, but he was a Muslim, you know, in his behavior and his character. So
great, excellent. So Marsha, I don't know if you have a question.
I didn't know if Sister Teal wanted to add something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
sorry,
I wanted to add something. We got something like the auxiliary, where you have members come in and there be more support. So the wife or the spouse or whatever can come in and be a part of the group, and they have their uniform, and they be more like a support. Like I would get already recruited a couple of my friends who's not Muslim, so they came down for the parade. So I'm building on that, like you asked for about 3 goals, is building the support system, because we can't be taking care of this. You always need people who want to be a part of something, but don't want to really be a part, but they just call them. So that's what the auxiliary is. So the spouses of the military people, family, come together and be a part of that and help them. Everything we do, but they don't have voting rights. So that's a good opportunity to say, keep your family input. And that's another thing, because once the military person passes, with the spouse or the family member is going to do. So that's one of our goals. We want to help make that strong, so we can support those willers and widows and keep them involved, because they've been military all their life. Especially the children want to see, and also getting the Jawara Scouts involved, so they can be the ones that bring in the flags, bring in the color guards, and see us, and we can build them up. So MAVA has something for everybody, but there's certain voting parts, and certainly just be a participant.
Got it.
Great, that's great, because, and I'm glad that point was brought out, that MAVA's not just for the person who is or was serving, because support is so important, and I can see that being the foundation for why, you know, the MAVA was even instituted, because, you know, you all have a common experience. And on top of that, you all are Muslim, which is also your common experience. And so I can see that being a way to band together to sort of help each other through. And I know that Brother Lyndon shared that right now you all don't have the capacity to help with all the services that someone may need, but that is the trajectory of the organization. So I'm excited for you all to develop to that point, because it seems like a much needed thing. My question, I kind of want to take us back just a little bit. And so right now we're talking about veterans, but I'm thinking, you know, if there's a young person in the community who is interested in going into military service, what would you advise?
Good question.
Well, I mean, I would say, and I'm speaking as a older person, so to speak, because my tenure was from 1980 to 1993. So it's a new world today in a lot of respects. But one thing that you do, they have I'm sure they still have recruiters, and you go into, and that's how I joined. I went into the recruiter's office because I was like, I got to get out of Gary, but I got to, I'm out of high school now. I got to do something. And I know the military offers opportunity to get a career and learn some skills and become a professional at those skills. So hopefully the young person has an ideal on what it is they want to do, what they want to learn, what they want to do. Now, if they just say they want to go in there and kill some people, then they got issues. But, if you want to learn a skill like just take, for instance, cybersecurity or, healthcare or anything, you go into the military, you get that free, say, on-the-job training while you're getting paid. And one of the things that Imam Muhammad pointed out when he spoke at the Pentagon in his lecture was what he loved about the military was the discipline that it gives. He said if he had his choice, he would have joined the military if it was up to him. But of course, as a member of the Nation of Islam at that time, that was not permitted. And so it wasn't until Imam Muhammad picked up the flag that it was an influx of Muslims that joined the military, especially African Americans. But your question is a good question, and this is one of the things that MAVA can do for some of the young people. We can give consultation to some of the young people about the military on what to expect. You go in, of course, and the first thing you do is boot camp, which is, I believe, is 6 or 8 weeks, and that's when you go through all of the physical training and all the other training. But after that 6 or 8 weeks is over, then whatever career field that you have been selected, or that you was put into, that's when you start learning that. You go to that technical school and you learn that, and then you go get stationed, and you can select where you want to go. For instance, if you want to go to Japan, you can put that on your wish list, so to speak. You might get it or you might not get it. But if you stay in the military long enough, eventually you'll get it, or you'll go over there. So that's my 2 cents, Sister Teal.
Assalamu alaikum again. I get that question all the time from people at the masjid. They either have a grandson, son, or daughter who say they want to go in the military, or they say we're going to make them go to the military. But the most important thing is sometimes you got to listen to them, because they ready to get out the house and the grandmother and the mom are really nagging at them. And I get that question. So a lot of time I talk to them, and it's more of a behavior from the family that they want them because they're not working, they hanging in the street. Because if you get somebody going to the military, they can break you. And that's all part of the process of breaking you down. But it's a lot of advantages to going to the military, because you can get schooling, you can get discipline, you got 3 squares, you get to go to bed, but you get to wake up early. But the most important thing is their mindset got to be set. Do you really want to go there? And when you start talking to them, you realize they really don't want to go to the military. For those who want to go in the military, there's no way you're stopping them. But when they have family members pushing them, that's another thing. Then you get a dishonorable discharge because you wasn't there, or your mindset, or you cuss somebody out, you broke the rules. But a lot of times when you're talking to them, it's so many advantages. I would recommend anybody who wants to go to the military to go, because you got opportunities. You're not there for a long time. You got a 3-year contract, 6-year, or whatever. Once you get in and say, oh no, this is not for me, then you can get out and go to college. Then again, now you build up some money that the military gave to you. But it's all about, do you want to go in, or is somebody forcing you to go in? Because anybody want to go in the military, you go on, and your mom and dad can't stop you. But anybody who don't want to go in, that's going to be a problem. So I talk to a lot of them. Some do go in, some don't. And then I say, if you don't want to go active duty, go reserves. Do your training. You can, like I did. I did my training, came out, did a job every day. Once a month, you went to training 2 weeks out of the year. You went somewhere for training, and then you can go back into your life. But if you want to make it a full career, then you got to make a commitment. Once you get that commitment, you have to stick with for 3 years, because you don't want a dishonorable discharge on your record where you would never get a job after that. And then you have to work harder to prove yourself over again. And so it's just a matter of talking to them and find out if they've been pushed into the military or they just want to get away from their family.
Excellent points. We have a question that was texted to me. Lyndon, Brother Lyndon, Bilal, this is for you. The petition in 2011 for the burial for the Muslims, who started that petition in 2011?
Well, the names I would put on it is Talib Deen Abdul Wakil, who was one of the co-founders of MAVA. And I think the first burial was a brother named Kenneth Rowe, who we buried out in Quantico Cemetery. And we used it at that time, but there's been a lot of burials performed since then.
Excellent. Would we be able to share that letter on our platform that you all received for the general public? Will we be able to receive a copy of that letter, Imam Lyndon, Bilal, to share out?
We just now received it, and so our Shura board, I actually have past Commander Sami Ali coming on our Shura board meeting, which is a monthly meeting, which is next week. And also in the Muslim journal, MAVA Speaks column, I'll be sharing it.
Okay.
So that should give it a wide dissemination. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I hope that all the people out here read the Muslim journal and subscribe to the Muslim journal. And if you don't, go to muslimjournal.net and take out your subscription.
Absolutely. And when we end this show, we will play our promo video for the Muslim Journal, as we will be there for as well for a time to be grateful coming up. So inshallah, we hope to see everyone there. But excellent. This has been an excellent conversation. I mean, there's been comments coming in. I'd like to pull them up from Sister Julie. She says she's the wife of veteran Paul V. Carnegie, brother Khalifa, formerly commander of MAVA Post number 6 in Philadelphia, is now deceased. So she's here. She's tuned in. Who else is tuned in here? We have Miss Fitz. She said Miss Peace. We have Brother Abdul Shakur. He says Assalamu alaikum. We have Sister Robin Latif out of Newark, MAVA Post number 5, giving her greetings. Brother Khalil's the commander, as we said, for MAVA Post number 5 in Mash Muhammad Newark. And Sister Julie did come back and gave some of her suggestions for goals for the Gregorian calendar. She said we should include a count to be given to Congress on health, homelessness, and recognition of duty of service, as is known within Muslim organizations, and to organizations that have witnessed the plight of Muslim veterans. So that was her comments and reference.
I agree with that. Yeah,
with some goals. And yes, Sister Julie, this recording will be always there, recorded. Once we end, it will be available for everyone to watch the replay, because I know she asked that as well. And let me see. Oh, Sister Angela Abdullah says, Assalamu alaikum. Thank you to Sister Teal and Brother Lyndon Bilal for your great service to the country and Muslims in our nation. So you all have conjured a very good audience tonight who appreciate you all's service to this country and appreciate the works that you are doing outside of the military with MAVA and the continuous service to serving humanity. Which is what we're in the business as Muslims to do, is to service humanity. And this is another opportunity, as we all say, Sister Marsha, I don't want to steal your thunder, but you're going to give us a call to action. So I'm going to turn it over to you for the call of action.
Well, I just was thinking that I don't even know if I have a call to action today. I'll come up with one by the time I finish speaking. But I was just thinking as you were talking that it's important for us to be in various spaces. And this conversation tonight just highlights the fact that it's important for us to be connected to military. We have values that that people need to be connected to. And they may not know that they need to be connected to them, but they do. And I know that our life examples are significant to people who don't necessarily connect to Islam or may not know things about Islam. And I know that the military could seem contrary to people in terms of faith and service in the military. But tonight in our conversation with Brother Lyndon and Sister Teal, we talked about the discipline and the order and the respect for our faith that is garnering attention and being instituted in the branches of the military. And that's important. We need to know that in order for us to be impactful and have change happen in various walks of life, we have to be connected to it. How do you expect it to come in? And I may be breaking up because my internet is a little shoddy.
You are breaking up, Sister Marsha. Are you there? Can you hear us? Okay, Sister Marsha is frozen due to technical difficulties. But to Sister Marsha's point, just wanted to expand on that just 1 second. The Nation of Islam the fruit of Islam was even modeled sort of like the military. They would drill, they would have cadences, they would have. Oh, Sister Marsha, you're back. Okay.
Yeah, I was like, my internet's a little shoddy, so I figured that I went away. I didn't know if you heard me. I said, I'm just keep talking and they'll catch whatever.
No, I was just telling them while you were away for that quick second that the Nation of Islam, even the fruit of Islam, was even modeled after sort of like the military. When you had drills, you had cadences, you had that type of discipline that was being poured into the young men and women from the MGTs, but especially the young men, and the men that joined the Nation of Islam. That sort of discipline from the military, borrowed that kind of concept from the military to install discipline into the young men and adult men that were coming into the Nation of Islam. So it is something that even the Imam Muhammad made a comment. He made a comment about the military a lot, but one of the things that he commented in one of his lectures too was the fact that, to Sister Teal's point, if it's in your heart and your intentions to do it, go ahead and do it. Because I know the conflict. Some Muslims may not agree with the current state of the military now and the wars that are being fought in Muslim grounds and our participation in that. So the Imam, was with his wisdom, that Allah blessed him with, said that it's not mandatory for us to go to the military. It's an option. It's not a draft or anything like that at this point of time where men have to go. But like, if your heart is in that place, you really want to go. You understand what I'm saying? If you don't have that intention, on doing so, then don't do it. Because like Steele said, you'll come back possibly with a dishonorable discharge or, whatever the case may happen. You just want to have a good experience, you understand what I'm saying, in the military or with any choice in life, but you just want to have a good experience in the military. But back to you, Sister Marsha. I'm sorry.
I'll be brief because who knows what's going to happen with this internet this evening. I just wanted to say that in order to be impactful, you have to be involved. And we need to be involved in as many things as we can be impactful in, because our values are important to the greater community and in the public space. And for the veterans out there, if you're not connected to MAVA, find a branch near you, a post near you, and get connected. You heard this evening that there's some great work being done. The foundation is being laid. Get in on the ground, on the ground floor, and put the work in. And don't let your experience sort of just die with where it was. Show that was a point in your life and an experience in your life that was significant, and that you all can be supports to each other based on your common experience. And so I thank you all for being with us this evening. It was a pleasure to hear about the military, your experience, and being a Muslim. My dad was in the Air Force. I don't know a bunch about his experience there, because those of you who know me intimately, I met my dad at 25, and then he probably passed maybe 7 years later. And I remember when he passed, and they did the whole procedure with the flag when he passed away. But it was nice to have this conversation with you all about military service, because it just brought a memory of my dad. So thank you all for being with us and sharing your experience with us this evening.
Yes, thank you so much to Sister Teal, Brother Lyndon, Bilal.
Thanks for having us. And
yes.
one point, real quick, when you was mentioning the fruit of Islam, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's first spokesperson, his name was Sultan Muhammad, and he was a World War I veteran, and he's probably the only soldier that's buried in Arlington Cemetery that has a star and crescent on his tombstone from World War I. So
I didn't know that.
And they named the masjid in Milwaukee after him. So. Oh
yes. I'm moving more Milwaukee. Okay. Thank you for sharing that with us, Brother Lyndon, Bilal, to the audience, because again that gives a more context to the fabric of the Muslims to this country and how much we have contributed to this country. So thank you, Sister Teal. Thank you, Brother Bilal.
Can I say one more thing before we leave?
Oh yes.
If you get the Muslim Journal from October the 16th, I did at the Constitution, the First Amendment, and tied in the Quran and the military and the First Amendment together. So anybody want to get that, they can read it in the Muslim Journal on the MAVA column. The coordination with the Quran and military and the First Amendment with the freedom of religion is a good article. And the commander helped me write it and put it together. So you'll see a lot of the verses that's in the First Amendment tied in. So the founding fathers had to have the Quran to make the connection with the First Amendment. So I give a lot of the verses and the connections of the ayat. So if you want to get that October 16 issue, inshallah. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you. Thank you all for having us, and we really appreciate it. And we want to say happy Veterans Day weekend to everyone.
Thank you. Yes, happy Veterans Weekend to all who have served and are serving. And until next time, peace. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.
Legacy, brothers and sisters, let's celebrate. Legacy, Muslim Journal, 60 years today. Legacy, our history, our perspective, our way. Legacy, Islam is our path, success away. Legacy, visit muslimjournal.net online. Legacy, text sponsor the 999. Legacy, 999. Legacy, muslimjournal.net online. Legacy, brothers and sisters, let's celebrate. Legacy, Muslim Journal, 60 years today. Legacy, our history, our perspective, our way. Legacy, Islam is our path, success away. Legacy, visit muslimjournal.net online. Legacy, text sponsor the 999. Legacy, 999. Legacy, muslimjournal.net online.